Hey boys, OldManCopper here. So about a year ago or so, I gave my father this book. Dad, I want to hear your story. And at the same time, I got one for myself. My idea on that was I'm going to fill this out. I'm going to give it to my daughter. So, of course, my dad talked to him today. He's done with it. And I just picked it up. But I started going through it just a couple days ago. And in here, it's got a bunch of small questions like, what was the price of gas, a gallon of gas, what was your mother's maiden name, blah, 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 blah. But there was a question in here, and the title says it all, but the question is knowing all that you know now, what advice would you give your teenage self? And, and looking at that, I really kind of thought that's a really neat question. And I've seen those videos on YouTube before, and I hadn't really thought about doing that until then. Because I started going through the book, and I thought instead of going through the book and writing it down and just have my daughter see it, I thought maybe I'd share a little bit with you guys, and that would be pretty fun. And not sure if it's going to be fun. I think today's going to hit a little hard, so I'm going to revisit some stuff when I was younger, and what advice would I give myself? So let's get to it. Well, I'm going to give you a little background. Teenage Copper. My name's Christian, but nickname Copper. Teenage Copper, I was a bit of a mess. Now, don't get me wrong, I had some really good traits to myself, but for the most part, though, I was a mess. My parents divorced, but after that, I really kind of went haywire. But I was 14, 15, my parents divorced. But my father's kind of a pillar in the community, and my brother, who was my father's namesake, was he's much bigger than I am, blonde hair. He was literally the captain of the football team, straight A student. Had his life sitting out right in front of him. So, when I was younger, thought a couple of things. I thought, well, got my brother Howard. He's Dad's namesake. He's going to be the family banner man. So I'm going to let him carry that banner. And you know what? For me, I'm just going to screw off and have a good time because I've got no pressure on myself, which was really my way of running, right? So I just stopped trying in a lot of ways. I ran from anything tough that I couldn't control. I partied hard. I partied, man. I chased women. Between beer and women, man, I was having a good time. I also lift weights. I started lifting weights when I was 10. And by the time I was a senior in high school, man, I was full bore. I lifted like my life depended on it. Quite frankly, it's because honestly, it's the only place that I felt strong. It's the only place not just physically, but physically, but I felt, internally it was my place, was my home. So the gym was my place, and it's where I found sanctuary. As a bodybuilder, I hate to say it, but at the time I found a validation in the mirror, and found validation in adding weights to the bar, another 100 pounds here, another 100 pounds there. School, I tell you, my senior year in school, this was back in 1987. And, man, it was just, I think I probably skipped more days than I went. And I barely graduated high school, barely did. So also, for some reason, I trusted people too easily. I always believed the good in people. I think that was an insecurity. I was afraid to confront people when they weren't doing the right thing. And, I was more worried about being liked than really being respected. I was just naive as hell. It was nuts, man. But now that you know a little bit of that, if I could sit me down and I think about it, how cool would it actually be if you were sitting in front of yourself? I mean, we talk about these videos, but I really thought about it, man. If I was sitting in front of myself, how nuts would that? I mean, I would actually listen. Don't you think you'd listen to yourself, man? It's nuts. So I'd look at myself and I'd be like, Christian, face every damn challenge, face it head on. There's more inside of you than you could ever give yourself credit for at this point in time in your life. I mean, if you could see ahead and see the accomplishments that you're going to do, the fires that you ran into when you risked yourself for people you didn't know, the life you built on that, the man that you become, you would be filled with joy if you could see that. You'd be very much motivated. You would be amazed at what we're capable of. You'd be amazed at what's going to happen when we stop running. So the sentence that I'd kind of use to cut through to talk to my younger self, because I know I would listen, would be take everything that you've learned in the gym and apply it towards life. Because all the lessons that you learn in the gym, they are life. The consistency, the commitment, the progression. I mean, the overcoming fears of, you put on big weights and you're afraid, to lift that weight, but you work through it. The failure, so you don't get the weight, and you learn how to, okay, I didn't get it that time. How can I circumvent and get back in, get stronger, and get the weight? So you learn all of these incredible qualities in the gym. Like I would tell a Christian, work the problem. Christian, take tiny steps. Take those tiny steps every day. Humble yourself to take those tiny steps. Don't worry about the big things. Because I say this almost every video, many little things make a big thing. I look back at school and man, I was, even when I tried in school, because when I went to college, I actually made it through college, and I tried, and I was still maybe a C+ student. There was a few classes in there that I'd really well on, but even when I really pushed, I took it very seriously. I was C+ at best. I wasn't going to get a graduate degree or anything. If I knew then what I knew now, I'd also tell myself as a teenager to find a mentor outside the family, and more of an educational and philosophical mentor, not necessarily a gym mentor, because I had those, but that was all about lifting. I'd tell myself, find that person, pour your heart out to them. Tell them what you're feeling and what you're going through, and tell them what your goals are, what you really want to do. Because when I was in high school, I really wanted to be a soldier. I mean, even when I was a kid, I wanted to be a warrior. I mean, we would play Dungeons and Dragons as a kid. I was always the guy that wanted to be the warrior or the paladin, the holy knight, and I was dying to be that guy. But I allowed myself to be talked out of the military by my mother, and I can't blame my mom. What mother could you think of that really pushes their son to go into the military? I'd tell myself to just go talk to the recruiter, and hopefully in that I'd tell you, go sign the contract, man. Burn the ship so you can't get out of it. Burn the ship so no one can talk you out of it. Just go. I think about, that was, so high school, I graduated, 17 years old when I graduated, and I could have went to the military. I look into going to the fire service. So I completely, from 17 until 30 years old, I partied, I chased women, I did all this stuff, and that's what I was all about. And I realized at 30 that I needed to get my head out of my ass. And that's when I went to become a fireman. And I look now at the structure that a paramilitary organization gave me, that as soon as I became, I started to excel. And that structure and the ability to excel in that warrior field, I would have been much better happening when I was 18 years old than 30. Geez, like I said, I didn't get hired till I was 33 years old in the fire service. Went through the fire academy at 31 or 32. So, I would tell myself, be okay with failure. Lean into the pain. Perfection is BS, because I got to be perfect. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to be perfect. And that was complete BS. And, it's just, I didn't want to fail. I was tired of failing. But I would tell myself, son, Christian, fail and get back up. Fail again and get back up. And you know what? You're going to fail again, but fail, be okay with it, and then get back up. Remember that the hard knocks and this pain, the failure is really what teaches you. Because success, if you're constantly successful, you're not learning anything. Yeah, you're learning some, but you know what I mean. The failure is where you really build yourself. It's where you become the man that you are. Lean into the pain. I told them the small stuff compounds, man. I would tell teenage Christian, be consistent, be reliable, and be a leader. Because back then I even had a leadership quality that I knew of, but I wouldn't embrace it. I ran from it. Again, I would tell myself those three main things. I tell them more, but you're hearing it now. But three main things: be reliable, be consistent, and be a leader. I'd also say, you don't have to be the smartest or the strongest. You just need to be the man that the people around you can count on. The man that outworks everybody. The man that's consistently there, day in and day out. If I look back, of course there's things you want to change, but I don't think I would change anything. I do wish still I went in the military, but it is what it is. I'm here, the man I am today, and I'm proud of the man I am today. So boys, just remember, be reliable, be consistent, and be a leader. Grab this book. It's kind of neat. Have a good time with it. Boys, if you've got a young man that's struggling, talk to him, tell him to face his problems head on. I'd like to hear from you guys in the comments below. Just the comment of, what is one thing you would tell your young self? I'd like to know, because I bet you it's all about the same, boys, but I want to know. Anyhow, that was a deep one for me. A lot of reflection. So you guys have yourself a wonderful day. Smoking my Devil Ants pipe with the Briarworks peach cobbler in it. Didn't really get a whole lot smoking in. But you guys have a great day. Keep grinding. Stay strong. OldManCopper's out. I'm going to reach over here and say goodbye. Goodbye.